Hello everyone. So in this video, I'm going to deliver on the topic puberty. So before moving into this content puberty, let's discuss on Erikson's psychosocial developmental stages. Why we need to discuss this psychosocial developmental stages in the sense we all know this puberty phase will always encompass with a major physiological changes. Whereas we have this Erikson psychosocial stage where he emphasizes more on psychological and social changes. So it is very crucial to understand the psychosocial, psychological and social changes that happen during this phase. So we know that Erikson psychosocial stages have been like divided into 8 stages. So among these 8 stages, we have this late childhood and adolescent stage. So in this late childhood stage, which extends from a period of 7 to 11 years, and this adolescent stage goes up to 12 to 18 years. So meanwhile, there will be a transition like from late childhood to adolescence. So the transit period between this late childhood and adolescence is where we call it as puberty phase occurs. So as we all know, this puberty phase where there is a major physiological changes happen, there will also be these emotional changes due to hormonal changes happen, and also there will be a prominent growth in growth sprouts happen in this stage. So these are the major things we are going to discuss in this video. So let's move on to this term puberty. So puberty is nothing but a which derives from a Latin word which means age of manhood, which describes there is a physiological changes rather than any behavioral changes. So eventually the individuals will be capable of being like giving offsprings. So this is the major point. And as for the definition, we could say that the puberty is a developmental period during which a child changes from an asexual to a sexual being. So here the sexual maturation occurs and the individual will be capable of providing an offspring. So here in this stage there will be maturation in the sexual apparatus, and reproductive capacity is attained, and also which is accompanied with physiological changes which we can term it as somatic growth, or and psychological perspectives also changes happens. So let's look into this timeline of from birth to adolescence in both girls and boys. So when we see this like timeline, we have like zero. This zero represents birth, and we have represented years in number line until 18. So which represents from like we have this childhood from average 6.5 to 7 years till 13 years, and then from the 13 years to till 18, like 12.5 to 13 to 18, we have this adolescence. So what does this number line mean in the sense? So here we see that this puberty phase, the one which is marked in red, this puberty phase occurs between this childhood and adolescence. Yes, so the end of this childhood and the starting of this adolescence appears this puberty phase. So in girls, the puberty phase will be from 11 to 15 on average. Whereas when we come to like boys, here we have this puberty phase from 12 to 16 years of age. So here their childhood extends to till 14, and their adolescence will be from 14 to 18 years. So in between there is an overlap of this puberty phase which occurs in from 12 to 16 years of age. Yes. So let's see the characteristics of puberty. So when we talk about this puberty, we need to understand like what all it consists of. What puberty is consist of when we have to name it as puberty phase. So the puberty phase is where, as we saw in the timeline, it is an overlapping period where it overlaps the late childhood and the adolescence. So during this puberty overlapping developmental period, which is covering the end of childhood and the beginning of adolescence, so here the children undergo puberty but not sexually mature, so we call them as pubescents or pubescent children. Whereas the ones who get sexually mature, one who attains sexual maturity, we call them as adolescents or young adolescents. So here in this puberty, there will be a gradual transition. There won't be any sudden drastic movement. So as we saw that it there is a gradual development from late childhood onwards. So there won't be any drastic growth in this puberty phase.